Yes, good evening. I'm eating candy. Let's get some more candy. More candy and cola. Have a little candy left. But that's mostly candy, wine gums for kids, cats, family candy. That's not strong. Yes, I'm collecting my empty bags of candy I got up here. Many different kind of bags. Whole plastic bag candies. But it's empty. I have to stop eat all this candy because my body weight is getting up and up. I'm getting bigger and bigger every month. So let's get back to my bed and reading some more. It's 7:30 p.m.
UGM-133 Trident 2. UGM-133 a Trident II. A Trident 2 launched from a submerged Royal Navy submarine. Type of place of origin United States. Service history in service 1990. Present used by United States Navy. Royal Navy. Production history manufacturer Lockheed Martin. Space unit cost $30.9 million. 2019. 1. Produced 1983. Specifications: mass 130,000 pound, 59,000 kilograms. 2. Length 44 foot 6.6 in, 13.579 n. Diameter 6 foot 11 in, 2.11 n. First, the UGM-133 a Trident 2, or Trident D5 is a submarine-launched ballistic missile, SLBM, built by Lockheed Martin Space in Sunnyvale, California, and deployed with the United States and Royal Navy. It was first deployed in March 1996, and remains in service. The Trident II strategic weapons system is an improved SLBM with greater accuracy, payload, and range than the earlier Trident C4. It is a key element of the U.S. strategic nuclear triad and strengthens U.S. strategic deterrence. The Trident II is considered to be a durable sea-based system capable of engaging many targets. It has payload flexibility that can accommodate various treaty requirements, such as New START. The Trident II's increased payload allows nuclear deterrence to be accomplished with fewer submarines, 14, and its high accuracy approaching that of land-based missiles enables it to be used as a first strike weapon. 15, 16, 17. Trident II missiles are carried by 14 U.S. Ohio and 4 British Vanguard-class submarines, with 24 missiles on each Ohio class and 16 missiles on each Vanguard class. The number of missiles on Ohio-class submarines was reduced to 20 by 2017, 18, 19, in compliance with the new Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty. There have been 177 successful test flights of the D-5 missile since design completion in 1989, 20, the most recent being from USS Maine, SSBN 741, in February 2020. 21. There have been fewer than 10 test flights that were failures, 22. The most recent being from HMS Vengeance off the coast of Florida in June 2016. 23. The D-5 is the sixth in a series of missile generations deployed since the sea-based deterrent program began 60 years ago. The Trident D-5 life extension version will remain in service until 2042. 24. History. The Trident II was designed with greater range and payload capacity than its predecessor, Trident C4. In 1972, the U.S. Navy projected an initial operating capability, IOC, date of 1984. The U.S. Navy shifted the IOC date to 1982. On the 18th of October, 1973, a Trident program review was administered. On the 14th of March, 1974, the U.S. Deputy Secretary of Defense disseminated 2 requirements for the Trident program. The first was an accuracy improvement. Stage 2, Warhead 112 Mk5RV/W88, 475 KT, or 114 Mk4RV/W76-0. 100 KT, or 114 Mk4ARV/W76-1, 90 KT, 3, single or multiple W76-2, 57 KT, 4, 5, engine 3 solid fuel rocket motors, first and second stage vehicle forward/Hercules solid fueled rocket, third stage United Technologies Corp. Solid fueled rocket, 6. Propellant MEPE75 SAD Smiley 7, nitrate ester plasticized polyethylene glycol bounds, aluminum ammonium perchloration operational range more than 7,500 mi, 12,000 kilometers, 8, 9, exactus classified, 10, maximum speed approximately 18,030 miles per hour, 29,020 kilometers per hour. Mach 24, 8,060 m /s, 2, terminal phase, guidance system Mk6 astro-inertial guidance. USS Kentucky firing a Trident Tisselman 2015 as part of the DASO 26 test launch for the Trident C4. The second requirement is fit for an alternative to the C4, or a new Trident I missile with a larger first stage motor than the C4. The U.S. Navy conducted studies to determine whether the more expensive Trident II could be constructed similarly to U.S. Air Force's missile, primarily to decrease budget costs. It was established that Trident II would be 83 inches, 210 centimeters, in diameter and 44 feet, 13 m, in length in order to match the performance of the existing MX-ICBM. Modifications to the guidance system, electronic hardening, and external protective coatings were incorporated into the design. While this satisfied the Navy's study requirements, it did not accommodate the U.S. Air Force payload requirements. Propulsion stages were proposed to be used between the first stage and second stage motors, effectively making the Trident II a longer three-stage missile than the C-4. Studies were delayed in 1978 when Congress only approved $5 million of the suggested $15 million for the Navy and Air Force program studies. By December 1978, the Navy's and the Air Force's own studies agreed with each other that a similar missile structure would not achieve desired savings. It was determined that the Navy and Air Force would maintain and be responsible for their own unique weapon systems. The U.S. Navy continued with its own design of Trident II. In March 1980, U.S. Secretary of Defense Harold Brown proposed an increased level of funding for the submarine-launched ballistic missile modernization, emphasizing increased accuracy. The House Armed Services Committee, HASC, recommended no funding, while the Senate Armed Services Committee, SASC, recommended full funding of $97 million. The SASC asked for a plan incorporating the fullest possible competition, and should consider competing among contractors for each major component, including the integrated missile. $65 million was awarded for the submarine-launched ballistic missile modernization. On the 2nd of October 1981, President Reagan called for the modernization of the strategic forces. 25. The Defense Department directed the Navy to fund all development of the Trident II D5 missile with a December 1989 IOC. All research and development efforts were directed toward a new development, advanced technology high-accuracy Trident II D5 system. In December 1982, Deputy SECDEF Frank Carluxy advised the Secretary of Defense Casper, which is able to receive global positioning system updates, to 11, steering system single movable nozzle actuator via gas generator accuracy 100 m, 12, 13, launch platform ballistic missile submarine. Weinberger to include funding for a new reentry vehicle warhead combination for Trident II. The reentry vehicle was to be designated as the Mk5, which was to have a greater yield than the Mk4. The development contract for Trident II was issued in October 1983. On the 28th of December 1983, the Deputy SECDEF authorized the Navy to proceed with full-scale engineering development of the Trident II D5. An initial series of 19 land-based Trident II launches took place from Cape Canaveral Launch Complex 46 from the 15th of January 1987 to the 27th of January 1989. 26. The first submarine launch was attempted by USS Tennessee, 2. The first D5 ship of the Ohio class, on 21 March 1989 off the coast of Cape Canaveral, Florida. The launch attempt failed 4 seconds into the flight because the plume of water following the missile rose to a greater height than expected and water was in the nozzle when the motor ignited. Once the problem was understood, relatively simple changes were quickly made, but the problem delayed the IOC of Trident II until March 1990. 6. 27. IOC force split completed on schedule in 2001, allowing Trident II SSBN to be deployed in the Pacific's Fleet. In 1980, the United Kingdom adopted the Trident IC-4 missile as part of its Trident nuclear program. 28. Design. The Trident II is a 3-stage rocket, each stage containing a solid fuel rocket motor. The first motor is made by Northrop Grumman. This first stage incorporates a solid propellant motor, parts to ensure first stage ignition, and a thrust vector control (TVC) system. The first stage section, compared to the Trident C4, is slightly larger, allowing increased range and a larger payload. In addition to a larger motor, The D5 uses an advanced and lighter fuel binder, polyethylene glycol, than the C4.29. This fuel is more commonly known as NEP75. NEP stands for nitrate ester plasticized polyether. The 75 represents that fuel contains 75% solids. 30, 31, 7. The solid components bound by fuel binder are HMX, aluminum and ammonium perchlorate. 7. Both the first and second stage motors are connected by an interstage casing, which contains electronics equipment and ordnance for separation during flight. The second stage also contains a motor made by Vehicle and Hercules Incorporated.